don't have to break into any mainframe to get a Motorola StarTAC cellular phone. Just go to any Motorola signature location.
What is this? Some sort of a security system?
Oh, wow, Francois. Motorola, what you never thought possible.
Mr. Keebler, my friend's a chocoholic, and she needs something chocolatey.
A fudge shop cookie?
Oh, cookies aren't enough for me. I mean her.
Not some factory cookies, but Keebler Fudge Shop cookies are.
Fudge shop?
Fudge shop, Keebler Fudge shop.
Try a grasshopper. Chocolatey mint cookies drenched in luscious fudge.
Oh, fudge.
Uh-oh.
Thanks, Keebler. I needed that.
You mean she did?
Yeah.
Got a chocolatey cookie craving? Go to the Keebler Fudge Shop.
Ahead on WeatherScope, planning your day, we'll have the latest conditions across the nation and your regional forecast coming up on WeatherScope after your local forecast. This is your local forecast. Weather information you can plan on, only on the Weather Channel.
Well, we're going to tell you more about our powerful winter storm, but first I want to tell you about who is bringing you this WeatherScope. This edition of WeatherScope is brought to you by Denny's. Now at Denny's, enjoy 5 made-to-order breakfasts for just $2.99 each.
This is WeatherScope.
You got to take care of a little business there. Well, a powerful winter storm is slamming the Great Lakes and eastern third of the country with everything but the kitchen sink. Heavy snow and ice cover the northern tier of states. Heavy rains drenching the Gulf all the way up into Florida. And there could be some localized flooding problems again in the Midwest. Severe weather. You can find that in the southeast later on today. And yesterday, we had tornado damage in Columbus, Georgia. I'm Mark Mancuso. Now with details on this storm, here is Cheryl Lemke in our forecast center. Good morning, Cheryl.
Thanks, Mark, and a good Friday morning to you. Indeed, as Mark was mentioning, our big story today, a powerful and a very dangerous storm system, one that has been multifaceted. For one thing, it's been producing some very heavy rains and some severe weather, but also by the same token, it's been producing some ice and some snow. Well, first of all, in the snowfall category, one place that has been especially hard hit, that has had more than its fair share of snow, has been Minnesota. And we have some pictures to show you from Duluth, where again, Minnesota has been especially hard hit. The snow began early yesterday for Duluth, and it hasn't let up since. So far, the city has received between 8 and 12 inches. Now, the snow should be tapering off, though, to flurries later on today, and the high will only be about 10 degrees. So even though in some parts of the country we're seeing the flowers blossoming and blooming, well, at least up across Minnesota, it feels like winter. Well, again, Minnesota was just one of many cities that was rather hard hit. We've had places like Wisconsin exceptionally hard hit as well, especially from La Crosse and over towards Green Bay. We had reports of at least 1.5 feet of snow for some places. Now, specifically for Pine River, Wisconsin, we had 21 inches of snowfall there, and around La Crosse, we had about 18 inches of snow. Duluth had about 6 to 8 inches of snow as a rule, and then Minneapolis picked up about 4 inches. Now, it wasn't quite so heavy for Minneapolis, but nonetheless, there were some travel troubles across Minneapolis, and there were some fender benders in that general vicinity. Now, for today, we're going to be seeing how the snow should be tapering off across parts of the upper Midwest, but still that combination of ice and snow for parts of Wisconsin and Michigan, and that wintry mix continued to invade the Northeast too this morning. And in fact, right now we're seeing problems with some freezing rain and some sleet around JFK, LaGuardia, Newark, on into Wrightstown, New Jersey. And this pretty much will be the story today, at least starting off initially as some frozen precipitation around New York City, likewise for Boston and Providence, but that will eventually be turning over to pure rain later on today as somewhat milder air starts to work its way up from the south. Today, though, the heaviest snows from around the Arrowhead of Minnesota and across the UP of Michigan. More significant snows, too, in upstate New York and on into the White and the Green Mountains of Vermont and New Hampshire, and then northward towards Caribou, Maine, where another 6 to 12 inches of snow could be falling. So this is great news for ski resorts. Heading over towards Attitash and Jay Peak today, yeah, you'll be seeing some nice fresh powder. Our storm system again this morning showing us a low-pressure area poised right over the Hoosier State. Anywhere north of that warm front, that's where you have that wintry mix of ice and snow. To the south of the warm front, at least temperatures are up above the freezing mark, so that's where the rain is occurring. Now, again, it's been a mess for travelers and commuters across the New York City metro area. Heading over across the Verrazano Bridge and heading over towards the LIE. We've got the freezing rain this morning, again, from not only the heart of New York City, but likewise across Long Island, heading over towards Islip and Port Jefferson, that frozen mixture, but that will eventually be turning over to plain rain later on today. Now, besides this ice and the snow across the Northeast, other problems with this particular storm system has been the threats of heavy rain and severe weather. Now, unfortunately, we had more heavy rain that broke out yesterday for the flood-prone Ohio Valley, and we also had reports of severe weather. There was a brief tornado touchdown yesterday for Parchman, Mississippi, but then we also have another tornado that touched down in Columbus, Georgia, which did cause considerable damage. It damaged a shopping mall, and it spread a bunch of debris across Interstate 185 near Columbus, Georgia. So indeed, we've had some problems too across the southeast. Well, let's see where the rough weather right now is for the southeastern states. And as you can see, we have all these showers and thunderstorms that continue to lift up through the area.